The world holds its breath. In dimly lit gyms, in crowded bars, in the quiet of living rooms where generations of fight fans have gathered, the anticipation simmers like a storm on the horizon. This is the moment boxing has been building toward, a clash of titans, a battle not just for belts, but for legacy itself. Two warriors stand on the precipice of history, each a master of his craft, each carrying the weight of expectation. On one side, Oleksandr Usyk, the Ukrainian maestro, a man who dances through fire and turns the sweet science into a masterpiece of movement and precision. On the other, Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, a towering enigma whose unpredictability and sheer force of will have shattered every mold the heavyweight division has ever known. It isn't just another fight. It's the kind of bout that transforms careers into legends, that etches names into history books and turns doubters into believers. The road to this moment has been long, winding, and fraught with obstacles. Usyk, the former undisputed cruiserweight champion, climbed to heavyweight and dismantled the best with an artistry that seemed effortless. Speed, timing, intelligence, his tools made giants crumble. But standing in front of him now is something entirely different. Fury is not just another big man. He's a force of nature, a fighter who defies logic, who bends the rules of boxing physics, moving like a man half his size, while hitting with a force that can end nights in an instant. The world has seen them both defy the odds. Usyk stepping into the ring against a fighter many said was too big, too strong, too experienced, only to leave with his hand raised and another belt around his waist. Fury rising from the canvas when most men would have stayed down, laughing in the face of those who thought they had him figured out. Two warriors, two paths, both leading here. Inside the fight camps, the air is thick with focus and intent. In Usyk's world, it's methodical precision, grueling preparation, and almost obsessive attention to detail. Every step, every angle, every movement drilled into muscle memory until it becomes second nature. His team knows the stakes. Fury isn't just an opponent. He's a puzzle that has left some of the best in the sport lost and frustrated. But Usyk is built differently. He doesn't just fight. He calculates, adapts, and dissects his opponents with a mind as sharp as his punches. On Fury's side, it's a different kind of energy. Confidence, controlled chaos, a sense of inevitability. The Gypsy King has made a career out of proving people wrong. He's been written off before, counted out, doubted, but each time, he's come back stronger, rewriting the script in ways only he can. His training camp is a whirlwind of intensity and unpredictability, filled with laughter one moment and brutal sparring the next. For him, this fight isn't just about belts. It's about cementing his place as the greatest of this generation, about proving that no man, no matter how skilled, no matter how disciplined, can outthink or outfight him. The styles could not be more contrasting. Usyk, the technician, the artist, the chess master who sees 5 moves ahead. Fury, the juggernaut with the mind of a trickster, capable of switching styles in an instant, making opponents feel like they're fighting shadows. It's power against finesse, unpredictability against structure, a war of inches, of adjustments, of will. The night of the fight looms closer, and with it, the tension rises. Fans, analysts, fighters, legends of the sport, they all weigh in, but no consensus emerges. Some say Usyk's precision will be too much, that his movement and ring IQ will pick Fury apart. Others believe Fury's sheer size and ability to smother, lean, and wear down opponents will break Usyk as the rounds progress. The only certainty is that when the first bell rings, the world will witness something unforgettable. Behind the scenes, in those final moments before the walk to the ring, the silence becomes deafening. The gloves are laced. The final instructions are given. The mind races, but the body remains steady. Years of training have led to this. Usyk's eyes are calm, unshaken, a man who has faced war outside the ring and knows no fear within it. Fury, always the showman, exudes his usual bravado. But beneath the surface, there's a fire, a need to prove once again that he is the king of this division. The arena is electric. The world is watching. Two men step forward, each knowing that by the end of the night, only one will leave with their hand raised. And then the bell rings. Fury moves first, a flicking jab testing the space between them, feeling for weaknesses, setting the tempo. Usyk doesn't bite. His eyes remain locked, reading every twitch, every shift of weight. The first round is a dance of deception, feints, half steps, glancing shots that barely register. But both men know this isn't the fight yet. This is the setup, the opening pages of a war that will be written one punch at a time. Then the real battle begins. Usyk presses forward, slipping inside Fury's reach with a sudden burst of speed, a sharp left catching the Brit on the chin before he can react. The crowd gasps. It's not the power, it's the precision. A reminder that Usyk isn't here to be bullied, that his smaller frame carries something more dangerous than brute strength. But Fury grins, nodding as if welcoming the challenge, his hands moving with renewed urgency. He sways, shifts his weight, throws a hook that looks slow until the last second when it explodes forward. Usyk ducks just in time, pivoting away, but not without consequence. Fury's forearm drapes over his shoulders as they exit the exchange, a reminder of the size difference, the weight that will press on him for every second of this fight. A rhythm begins to form. Usyk darting in and out, his footwork immaculate, making Fury work harder than he wants. But the Gypsy King isn't flustered. He adjusts, reaching with his jab, forcing Usyk into spots where escape isn't as easy. A right hand clips Usyk's temple, not a knockout shot, but enough to shift the momentum. For the first time, Fury steps in aggressively, throwing combinations that force Usyk to cover up. The crowd senses the shift. Usyk, so composed, so calculated, is being pushed into deeper waters earlier than expected. And then, the unexpected. Midway through the fourth round, as Usyk slips a right hand and prepares to counter, Fury does something no one anticipated. He switches stances. A southpaw Fury is a rarity, a puzzle within a puzzle, and for the first time in the fight, Usyk hesitates. A fraction of a second, barely noticeable, but enough for Fury to land a stiff straight left that sends the Ukrainian stumbling a step backward. It's not just a change of pace, it's a message. Fury isn't here to play by Usyk's rules. He will disrupt, he will adapt, he will do whatever it takes to break his opponent's rhythm. Usyk resets, but the dynamic has shifted. Fury, now emboldened, leans into his natural chaos. He feints wildly, exaggerating his movements, making it nearly impossible for Usyk to predict what's real and what's a trick. The crowd roars as Fury steps in close, not throwing a punch but using his sheer mass to press Usyk against the ropes. The referee steps in, separating them, but the tactic is clear. Fury is testing the limits, seeing what he can get away with, turning the fight into something messier, something more taxing. Yet, just when it seems like the momentum is fully in Fury's favor, Usyk fires back. A body shot sharp, precise, unexpected finds its mark just beneath Fury's ribs, forcing him to exhale sharply. Another follows, then another. The Gypsy King's smile fades just slightly. Usyk has found his opening. Round after round, the fight transforms into something else entirely. Fury, unpredictable and relentless, uses every trick in his arsenal. Usyk, precise and methodical, refuses to be broken. But as the rounds wear on, something deeper is at play. Both men are drawing from reserves they've never needed before. The question isn't just who is better, it's who can endure more. And then, as the final stretch looms, a moment arrives that no one saw coming. A sharp breath, a flicker of movement, and then a punch lands that changes everything. It's Usyk, threading a left hand through Fury's shifting guard, snapping the bigger man's head back. The crowd reacts before Fury can, a collective gasp rippling through the arena. He's hurt, not staggered, not floored, but it's the first time all night he looks momentarily unsure. Usyk senses it. He doesn't waste a second. His feet shift, his body moves as if guided by something instinctual, something beyond muscle memory. A flurry follows fast, surgical, the kind of attack that has unraveled so many before. Fury, the man who has made a career of absorbing punishment and laughing through it, suddenly isn't laughing. But champions don't crumble easily. He ties Usyk up, pulling him into a clinch, his weight pressing down, forcing the smaller man to work just to break free. The referee steps in, separating them, but the momentum has shifted once more. Usyk's eyes burn with intensity. He knows what he has to do. He has seen men fall before, men who thought they could outlast him, outthink him, only to realize too late that he wasn't just a technician, he was a destroyer in disguise. Fury shakes his head as if to clear it, then grins through the mouthguard, a defiant gesture that almost hides the urgency in his movements. He begins pressing forward again, swinging hooks that don't find their mark, but remind Usyk that power is still a factor. The Ukrainian doesn't retreat, doesn't change his plan. He knows this version of Fury, the one who fights off instinct when the strategy begins to slip. It's dangerous, but it's also desperate. And desperate fighters make mistakes. Then, in the 11th round, it happens. Usyk times a counter perfectly, a right hook that catches Fury on the temple. It isn't the hardest punch thrown that night, but it lands at the right moment when balance and momentum are against him. Fury stumbles, his footwork faltering in a way rarely seen. The arena erupts. Usyk presses forward, another shot landing, then another. Fury's back touches the ropes, a place he has controlled others from so many times before, but this time, he isn't in control. A final, thunderous combination sends the giant crumpling to a knee. The referee steps in, beginning the count. Fury, blinking, breathing heavy, nods as if acknowledging the moment. At 6, he places his gloves on the canvas. At 7, he pushes himself up. At 8, he stands, hands raised, eyes locked on the man across from him. He's ready to continue. The fight isn't over yet. The last round is something out of legend. Usyk, knowing he is on the brink of history, doesn't retreat into caution. Fury, knowing he needs something spectacular, digs deeper than ever before. Every exchange is a battle within a battle, every second stretching longer than it should. The bell rings, and both men, exhausted but unbroken, raise their hands in victory. But only one will hear their name called. The scores are announced. The arena holds its breath. And then the moment comes. Oleksandr Usyk is declared the winner, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Fury closes his eyes for a brief second, then nods before walking over, pulling Usyk into an embrace. There is no anger, no protest, just respect between warriors who left everything in the ring. As Usyk stands in the center, belts draped over his shoulders, emotions finally breaking through his normally composed expression, the world watches, knowing they have witnessed something rare. This wasn't just a fight. It was a battle of skill, will, and legacy. And no matter where the sport goes next, this night will never be forgotten.